I could really use a lozenge. Salutations, class, and welcome back. I hope you've all had a very wonderful weekend. I enjoyed my Sunday break. This week might be comparably busy to last one. And, very big news, we have our first collaboration that's been officially planned with one of our favorite friends around here, Leviathan. You should be able to recognize her. We will be playing Mech Warrior Online tomorrow evening, and the rest of the week should be mostly the same as what we've had so far. But tonight, we have more Inscryption with more silly voice acting to behold. So, allow us to resume. Another challenger. Did I tell you the tale of the one who came before you? They fell to a mad prospector. Nothing comes between that man and his gold. Your starting deck. The same folks we've always fought with. Where to go? I do always appreciate a good campfire, so let's take a look over here. Mantis, Warren, or, Moosebuck. As you can see from the notification in the top right, I'm still a little ill, so you might hear a few voice cracks here and there. Now, we don't have enough cards in our deck or enough minion recycling to be able to pick something with such a high blood cost yet. So, for the sake of safety, let's take a double check on here. This does allow us to play defensively, which might help us versus a bunch of the situations that we had so far. No, you. Welcome. And thank you. It's actually not nearly as bad as it might sound. I just basically have something caught in my throat. So, it's not an issue until... it's not an issue until I continue speaking. We will go ahead and buff up the Warren here, as 0 attack is not something we want. Seems they wanted to have a bit of rabbit's foot here. Yeah, as long as I don't talk, it's not an issue because it's only something in the back of my throat, whatever it is. I think it's just a deal with all the cedar around here, so... there's too much dust in the air for me to breathe properly. Or speak, really, I should say. Breathing does me just fine the rest of the time. Now we take a look up here. We have a coyote and a sparrow making their advance. Sparrow has burrower. You have Mighty Leap and can come to contest with the sparrow, it looks like. But they will be attacking first. I shall pass our first turn. Draw a squirrel. We could use a couple of draws first, more than anything else. Have someone here fight the coyote. After that, we have no other immediate sacrifices for us to make. We are getting close to danger, so... we'll see if we can draw something with 1 blood cost. You have flying. We might want to be a bit more careful here. So, what our plan will be here is, we sacrifice the squirrel over here to our stoat. Yeah. And then use our stink bug, placed opposite the sparrow here, to nullify its attack. Since it has flying, it would be going over our characters to attack directly. But now we don't have an issue with that. Oh, even better. It received every it received every single attack that could have happened. Yes, I think you've got me this time. That was the voice we were doing. I'll take the extra teeth. Thank you very much. We can't double sacrifice them. We'll just go ahead and place the Warren here. Rabbits are just there to tank, it seems. So a bit less useful than the beehive build we were going for last time. And give me those extra points. Thank you very much. Once again, we are not left with a choice, so let's take a look. The conniving... the conniving raven, a blight upon the skies. The magpie, and the pronghorn, which has two interesting effects of always running around and attacking diagonally. All of these have a relatively high blood cost, although the draw from the magpie is what I'd say is probably my favorite effect. Card draw is a very important thing to have. And welcome, Error. We're getting back to your favorite tonight. Although we have enough things planned this week that this might be, again, the only night that we're doing Inscryption. You can't take more than 3 items, and you have 3. Instead, perhaps you'll accept this gift from my friend. Ah! I actually do like that a lot. We do need to make good use of our items. Interesting that we have the hook. We can go ahead and put that to good use later. I'll remember that those are item packs, so we only want to go there if we don't have a full inventory. Another encounter. Our fur blocks flying. We don't we don't yet have much of a reason to worry about the coyote. Sparrow is not much of an issue either. I shall pass. Let's get our stoat out there to meet the bat. Right. We must always draw first before we make our plan. Flying blocker, Let's go ahead and begin here. Yes, I'm very sure. We can definitely make a power play here if we have an extra squirrel. That lets us put down the pack rat and immediately get rid of one of the more problematic creatures we have on the board here. But what's a bigger problem, the sparrow or the coyote? We don't even have to answer that question. We will take 2 squirrels here, place them down and sacrifice both of them to our pack rat, who we will then place opposite the sparrow. And then Stinkbug here can go ahead and fight the coyote. All enemies eliminated. And it seems he has no more cards to deploy against us. So a simple pass will do. No more sacrifices need to be made. In fact, we probably didn't need to use that squirrel, but I wanted to see Just what the pack rat could get us. Ah, we got exactly the damage we needed. We're not heading over here for the items because we have so many of them, so let's take a look over here. Oh, of course. You came across a humbled man standing beside some boulders. Hold on, I'm gonna have to cough my lungs out before I do this voice. And turn the gain down because this is going to be a problem.
Ye caught me off guard. Not supposed to see me till further down the road. Say, I like me a gamble. If and ye can pick a boulder that has gold in it, ye can keep it.
We're not really given a specific indicator here, so I will go ahead and try this one.
Dagnabbit, no gold. But that's a funny looking varmint. Keep it.
Very well. You know how much I enjoy the death recycling cards. The decrepit wood carver appeared before you. She moved with a certain vigor in spite of her considerable age. Burrower is a very strong effect. Although we don't necessarily want it on a squirrel, we'll be able to replace that part of the statue later. You hunched down to place her offering in your pack. When you looked up again, the ancient woman has vanished. On to what I assume... Oh, no, it's a little bit more before the prospector fight. I wonder how we're going to deal with the otter. Place a squirrel here, and I'll take a bullfrog over it. Give us a little bit of a head start. Not too many strategies we can start with here. I'll go ahead and take a squirrel. Your adversary will entirely skip their next turn. We are not yet in trouble, so I will skip one more. And our frog will give us 1 point of damage. Start with a squirrel. Place 2 of them down here and sacrifice them for our... Oh, wait a minute. We'll get another item, so why not use one right now? And place you opposite the coyote to take care of him. Ah! Extra set of bones that we might make good use of. We might be able to essentially stalemate here if we place the stink bug in front of an enemy that can't be attacked and only has 1 power. That should enable our stink bug here to basically keep attacking and nullify this entire space, which also blocks off the alpha, which sits behind. I'm going to want some actually usable cards first. But nothing to be done just yet. The river otter is completely unable to attack. I'll take a couple of squirrels. We can eventually do something with the Ant Queen, I suppose. But we don't need it. Kayla, James, welcome. I'll try to voice act through through the cough. Don't worry, Professor is quite healthier than he might sound. It's mostly just probably the pollen stuck in my throat. The Cthulhu card again, which I believe... that one might be different. I can't remember if that one has the extra damage from how many cards we have in hand. A bit of uncontestable damage is strong. We don't have enough ways to recycle bones for a Rattler yet, I'd say. I'll take the River Otter. Gives us a consistent damage source, one that they can't block. Let's go ahead and take our option here on the right, since I can't remember what that icon means. Ah, there it is. You came upon the old woodcarver who fixed her intense gaze upon you. Bell ring sigil is how close the card is to the bell. Ah, so the end turn button on the left, I assume. After an overlong moment of silence, she moved to offer her carvings. Excellent pick here. That is for our wolves, which usually have higher damage, so maybe Burrower isn't the best pick. But it's definitely a build option we can move into. Build ourselves a little defensive wolf deck then. The green-haired woman silently collected her carvings and left. Well, here we go again. I'm gonna need a drink for this one. A chill mist closed in around you. You were not alone. A figure emerged from the fog.
Stand in the way of me, goat? Be darned!
The Prospector again. We will have to focus on the mule. We'll get a lot of cards, and that will rely on us having a relatively wide board. Let's go ahead. Right. Go ahead and place our squirrel here, sacrifice you for a Warren, and start building up a defense. I think we can afford to save the rabbit for a sacrifice. Give that to the magpie. The Warren stands in opposition of the pack mule, which will give us a lot of cards for us to use pretty soon. Squirrel here. Place both of these down. Sacrifice them for the magpie, who will then attack the coyote. Then we're allowed to search the entire deck. We will want to play a little patiently here. You know what? I'll go towards building up for the Ant Queen. We have a few bone tokens to use in a moment, but not enough cards that abuse it. And we'll want something that fights off the wolf cub as soon as possible. So, place our stoat here. Coyote is not much of a concern as we're mostly able to decently block all the enemies. We will not overcommit to this board, as that's basically what makes the boss screw us over. We will need far more sacrifices, though. Nothing else to be played. Not yet. Looks like we might be in trouble. We'll want to make sure we block that wolf as much as possible. We might just have to sit here and block for a turn. Pack rat is good. That does let us immediately fight the coyote. We are 1 point of damage away from losing, and like hell, I'm going to pull out another tooth so soon. So, squirrel it is. We will just block 1 point of damage. And now we're kind of in trouble. As powerful as it is, we are going to need the health buff, so I think we'll hook the wolf. I'll be taking you. And that should be sufficient to end our turn. Give ourselves a few extra cards.
My mule and her pack.
Of course. 1 point away.
More gold for me. Give me your phone.
And I thought we were doing so well. But I didn't look ahead on the board state quite well, did I?
Your death card. Beautiful. Though it could use some detail. Please choose a card to draw the cost from.
Obviously lower.
And another. This time I will use its power and health. The numbers. Choose a card from which we will extract the sigil.
Ah, this is kind of a different one here. Wait a minute. With the proper setup, a 1 blood costing card with an ant that recycles like that, wouldn't that card basically be indefinitely placeable? James, I do believe you gave yourself the sign of undying in that fan art, right? Would you appreciate an opportunity here? You know what? Might as well. But just for sake of consistency, might as well.
Any good card has a portrait. Goodbye.
I am not yet fully familiar with all the mechanics of this game yet, no use, so I wasn't thinking far enough ahead. Sacrifice the squirrel, other squirrel for an ant. Ah, we have some more subversive stuff telling us exactly where else in the room we should be looking then. Looks like we're getting to a new act, aren't we? I'm going to assume that's still the regular Dungeon Master speaking.
Another for the Prospector's pickaxe, or will you do better? Here is your deck. Study it.
And continue. Use a smoke and a squirrel. That sounds like some in-depth level of strategy I'm not yet familiar with. Ah, we do have a few items to start with. We'll take a card, though, before anything else. A nascent raven is no less conniving in its incubation. The tenacious skink. It moves over when attacked, leaving its tail behind. You do know how much I love birds. We have ourselves a sacrifice here, it looks like. Bullfrog never really does enough for what I'd hope to get out of him. Flying blocker, Given that the Stoat has a lot of HP, that might be one of our better options. Stoat's not the happiest fellow, is he? And our first encounter of this run. Thank you, Kayla. Not too sick, but somewhat. We will pass this first turn. And we will want to get rid of the pronghorn basically immediately. So, 2 squirrels here, and sacrifice them both for a wolf. Pronghorn attacks, and we will save those tokens for Stinkbug here in a moment. A little eager to see those bots eliminated, are you, Kayla? Let's go ahead and get an assessment on what our Raven Egg is capable of doing. Once it evolves. Ah, 2-3. Excellent stat line. We have the Trapper there. And I think most importantly, we might want more cards, I'd say. I can't see what the other sigil is behind there. The pronghorn has a very interesting set of stats, and some very weird behavior between the sprinting and the diagonal attacks. I think we might actually open up some pretty good strategies off of him.
The decrepit woodcarver appeared before you. She moved with a certain vigor in spite of her considerable age.
Once again. So, I think the choice here is obvious. Indefinitely sacrificable squirrels can be placed behind an obstacle, and we use them for their primary purpose, but we get so much more value out of it. That totem we might not even change. Like so. Place you behind here and you will not be attacking the boulder. But the pronghorn advances forward. That doesn't generate us a token. Interesting. We'll be getting another one soon enough. No necessary tokens just yet. Raven Egg, let's place you on the other side of the boulder here. Although, actually, I'll have you tank 1 damage from the pronghorn, it looks like. then the raven egg should comfortably evolve. And there we go. Take ourselves another squirrel just to use in the future. No other cards to use just yet. Everyone make your attacks. We have items over here and a strengthening spot. I don't think we need to worry about copying over sigils just yet. The diligent worker ant.
Its strength is proportionate to the size of its colony.
But we don't have any other ant generators yet.
The underappreciated ringworm. Its value is not readily apparent.
That looks like something I'll have to have knowledge to use later. Given our indefinite sacrifices, the bulky stats here on the elk is the clear choice. Until I know what a ringworm is supposed to do. Enhancing the power of a card. The diagonal attacks on the pronghorn might be the best option here. Essentially, we should get double the value out of it. Ah, finally we have an interesting gamble here. Push your luck or risk losing the pronghorn. We'll go for a gamble.
Luck was on your side. Perhaps one more moment, but you sensed the risk was now even greater.
No. We'll take that 3 attack and leave with it. With the right setup, we might be able to turn the tides of battle with only 1 card. Now, while we have the map here, let's take ourselves a little look. Something here that we're supposed to do with the squirrel. I imagine we'll need some sort of sharp implement. We've already gone through there. The wolf statue is no longer in its cage. I'll take a few teeth, thank you. Ah, this looks like this is a pulley system. So if we place something here, there we go.
You finally pried my special dagger from the paws of that squirrel, though you may wish that you hadn't.
What's it supposed to do? Guess we could look for any sort of rope around here. So what it's looking like is we'll need a few little quests and incidents that we find off of fighting some bosses in this game. After all, that was a caged wolf, wasn't it? So I assume that was unlocked after we did the symbolic opening of the cage in-game. I will go ahead and take a guess that that is the only thing we can do outside of the game for now. Get on to our next encounter. This is setting up to be a good one. Since the pronghorn attacks diagonally, let's go ahead and set up a squirrel all the way over here so it will not be harmed for a turn. Sacrifice it for a raven egg, which will momentarily hatch. And then, in a moment, it should be able to fight the pronghorn. You'll be set up to be attacked by the squirrel, unless... Just grab another one right here. Sacrifice them both to the wolf, and immediately end my turn. Now that should let us push forward quite a bit of damage, until our scrolls get contested. What the... Is it just me or does Stinkbug look a little, different? That's a person. That is now a person. No need to worry about our other cards. Our squirrels will do just fine. Nothing necessary yet. I think we win this turn regardless. Just from the sheer overpowering damage we have this side. The cat has demanded to sit in my lap once again, so we will allow it. I'm guessing this one lets us pick a tribe, but it's immediately followed by an item selection. So we'll head over here instead, since, as it stands, we don't yet have a reason to be using so many of our items. I'm guessing it copies stats from a card opposite of it. I will go with the much safer... No, do not bump the mic, little rascal. We don't yet have enough way to generate bones for a rattler like that. And the issue we have is the indefinite sacrifices we get off the squirrels do not actually give us bone tokens. So another raven egg for now.
The decrepit woodcock.
I should probably clear my throat before every one of those interactions.
The decrepit woodcarver appeared before you. She moved with a certain vigor.
Again, same dialogue as before. I don't think we really care for any of these. Infinite sacrifice squirrels is pretty indispensable. So, we'll keep it the same. Mostly we were wanting that card draw. And again, we come against the prospector.
You passed a massive empty bowl, surrounded by heaps of unidentifiable giblets and scantlings. It seemed the bowl was designed for a dog. But what earthly hound would require a meal of that size?
Where's that hound of mine?
Indeed, but in this case, we'll want something with high damage placed opposite of it. And as it stands, we will wait until it advances and then place a wolf opposite it. We'll skip that first turn. Are you purring into the mic, little rascal? So, squirrel will be attacked by wolf cubs soon. We'll go ahead and make 2 sacrifices off of you. First, we will draw a card, see what we get out of it. Pronghorn will be a clutch play here in a moment, so for now... The pack mule does change positions. Let's think about this for a moment. I'm going to assume it turns around since it's up against a wall here, so we will place a squirrel here, funny enough, starting an investment in a future turn. Place a stoat here. Ah, we sacrificed the wrong one. Wrong order. Wrong order. I'm going to pay dearly for that one. Right. Draw a card. Stink bug goes here, opposite the wolf cub. And we will probably want a squirrel pretty soon here, just to make the double sacrifice. You will place a weight on the scales. The pain is temporary. Interesting. Not much offensive power to worry about from their end just yet. We will draw our bigger, important cards. Go ahead and build me up some damage real quick. We will definitely want some more power here. So, sorry, Stink Bug. Wolf's gotta do some business here. Draw a squirrel. We don't immediately have to use it, though, do we? Wolf Cub will be a problem here in a turn, but we don't necessarily have to make another play. And especially if we put down a squirrel, we're not going to be able to remove it. We'll wait on the extra cards we get from the pack mule here.
My mule, curse you!
Take a squirrel, although for now... We'll actually just use them to absorb damage. We'll need to be careful not to overinvest on the board. In fact, actually, we do slightly deal more damage than him. I think we can actually just wait these turns out. One more ought to do it. Now before starvation sets in.
There's gold in them cards. Gold! I've struck gold!
And we might just have to use some blockers first. Starvation should be setting in soon, so we will need to speed this up. Possum will attack the wolf. Or we could sacrifice him. But we don't have any one cost to attack, do we? Indeed, we need to have more board space. So the Bloodhound will do that for us in a moment.
Get him!
A few squirrels remain. So, place... Oh, wait, it requires a sacrifice. So place you here to block the Bloodhound. Then sacrifice you for basically a ringworm. What this essentially does is let us make 2 sacrifices here. And then... I think the elk here does best. Replace the ringworm with an elk. Attack the wolf. We're still in the middle here. We got plenty of damage. Soon the adder will be attacking the gold nugget. We don't need to worry too much about the damage we're receiving yet. And now we can resume having some fun. but most of our remaining cards are 2 cost. Then we can sacrifice a raven egg, I guess, for another magpie, it looks like. It is a double-edged sword. We just need a way to play into it a lot better. And then sacrifice you for the immediate damage of a magpie that can get rid of the adder. Oh, right, flying, so you're going to attack over it, of course. Of course. This is what I get for always trying to play value decks, isn't it? You're not going to do anything from this point, but it looks like we might have lost this one. Maybe. Oh, wait, never mind. Of course. We still had a chance to pull through. Remember the diagonal damage we had. Yeah, I'm gonna take some time to learn, though, you. I'm noticing I'm doing a lot less thinking, especially since... Ah, the amalgam counts for all tribes, I see. Interesting. Well, we're building up a lot of death tokens, it looks like. I think I'll take the big stats, especially since we have so many sacrifices. Yeah, it's a little hard for me to focus on the actual deeper strategies, given that I'm looking back and forth between the game and the chat here. I've noticed it's a lot harder to think on stream than off stream. But we'll be able to pull through, and with a bit of practice, I'll be doing better. Especially since I'm wanting to focus more on dead cells, which might require my full attention. So maybe professors should spend a little bit less time talking.
After the harrowing encounter with the prospector, you gathered yourself and continued onwards. Let me think. The air grew thick with moisture. The buzzing and chirping of insects drowned out the sound of your footfalls. You beheld the wetlands.
Only one choice to be made here. Trial of blood, trial of power, or trial of wisdom. I think we have a relatively high costing deck. We have quite a few that cost 2 blood, so we should have a pretty good chance here. And we've already passed. We might want to focus a bit less on card draw, given how quickly we came to starvation that last time. I think the Raven's a pretty good choice here. We're not interested in the item. We will have an encounter on either side, it looks like. So off to the left we go. Another campfire. Enhance its health. The Raven having thorns definitely works better with having more health. I will take it as is. So, bugs, and they have flying blocker, which isn't going to be much of an issue. Ah, the amalgam counts as a squirrel. Wonderful. You know what? I think we might have a one-turn kill here. Hold on. Place a squirrel here. Raven egg here. Sacrifice them both for an amalgam on this side. And then immediately sacrifice them both for a pronghorn attacking 2 diagonals. And we have just built a Yu-Gi-Oh deck. Squirrel Wrangler. Win a battle with damage from squirrels. Oh, well, doesn't count since it's an amalgam. Funny enough, so the reason why I immediately jumped on the amalgam,
The stalwart snapper, a near impenetrable defense.
we might have a lot of deaths to make good use of Rattler, and we will want higher attack characters. Guardian kind of sucks. Sharp Quills for 1 health on a death token, not really all that good. You know what? Let's go ahead and pick a Rattler here. So the reason why I immediately went for the amalgam is my prior experience playing Hearthstone. They actually came out with a card called the amalgam, which had a similar effect. It only had stats, but it interacted with every tribe. And there were quite a few decks that actually made very good use of it. I feel like Stinkbug will be more important the longer we let him live. The elk has a relatively high chance to survive a turn, so let's see what happens when we give the evolution effect on something that we don't already know what it evolves into. There were actually quite a few, basically every week they'd have a different type of, every week they'd have a different type of special little rule set you could mess with. And the amalgam was usually a good card to use in those events, because it would have such unique interaction. One of my favorite bits was they eventually came out with a keyword called magnetic, where mechanical-based monsters could basically be grafted onto each other. You could apply the stats and abilities of one card onto another. Basically what we just did with sacrificing your minions. You can basically give their stats and effect to another card so long as they were a mech. Well, the amalgam counts as one, so you can have it get buffed by other tribes and then continue to bolster its stats. We can make a really big power play next turn. It doesn't look like we're gonna have too much problem with the worker ants, especially since we can make a really, really big drop next turn involving some double sacrifices. Now we really have to turn things around. We'll place a squirrel here. Place a squirrel here to maybe have some interaction with the ringworm. Right. I guess we will need another squirrel then. Place you here. Get the 2 sacrifices necessary. Place a worker ant down here. the squirrels will block damage. We might just want to invest in our pronghorn immediately, since it's not going to be threatened too soon. Tip the scales a little bit back in our favor. Ah, the Ant Queen upgraded, so that's what it meant in that case. Well, we still have plenty of powerful sacrifices to make, so here we go. And continue. Ant Queen will take a little bit of damage. We can definitely make better use of sacrifices more than anything else, so we will wait out this turn with no action. And I think that just wins it for us anyway. Continue. We can start building towards an Ant Queen. Here we have a sacrifice to make. We can definitely focus more on super powerful high-cost monsters, assuming we have a good way to set up a lot of assuming we have a good way to set up a lot of squirrels. I wonder what happens when we evolve the Ant Queen. See what we get out of this one. We'll want to focus on higher costing monsters that change the tide of battle, since we have so many sacrifices we can muster out of the squirrels. That way, when we place a card down that requires the squirrel sacrifices, they're a lot more impactful. Also, the amalgam just basically sets up with any squirrel combo easily. We will be taking a lot of damage right off the bat. No immediate way to set up for next turn, so we will skip. Take a lot of damage. Let's actually set up 2 squirrels just to take the damage from the adder here. Then we can draw another squirrel next turn and use that in conjunction with the amalgam here to keep drawing more cards. Or keep playing the bigger monsters. So 2 squirrels here, which we can get the indefinite sacrifices from this turn. That can cause trouble for turn 1, indeed. But we're able to basically always have 2 squirrels by turn 2. We might want to get a couple of 1-costing cards here in a moment. We don't have to worry about the Rattler too much. Let's go ahead and place the amalgam here, have it get rid of the skink. Raven here will tank the Rattler and hit back due to thorns. We have plenty of damage to give. Go ahead and place you here, get rid of the adder, and then we'll continue sacking damage afterwards. We'll need a few more tokens, won't we? always check for lethal. You know, that was the biggest issue I had in Hearthstone, was I wouldn't be checking for it. Let's go ahead and see if we can find ourselves a lower costing card. Ah, hello, me. Exceptional stats for that cost. Essentially, a very good wall.
The decrepit woodcarver appeared before you, moved with a certain rigor in spite of her considerable age.
I'm gonna read that out every time, aren't I? We might be able to set up for a bug deck pretty soon. Or... no, having all those extra sacrifices would not be a good idea. Or having all the extra card draw, if we did that with squirrels, would not be a good idea, as we lose the ability to have the indefinite number of sacrifices from them. So for now, I will take the ant head, but continue with our prior strategy. Already an hour, so quick. Well, time to go fishing.
The mud tugged hard at your feet, forcing you to slow your pace. A rank odor caused your stomach to churn and your eyes to water. It was the rotting fish that hung from the branches around you. A huge man approached.
Go fish. Understandable. Ah, a flying blocker versus a kingfisher, but we're not able to hit back, so all the stoat would be doing would be stalling him out a little bit, it looks like. But might as well begin. If I remember, phase 2 summons a bunch of sharks, doesn't it? Let's go ahead and put our stoat out here just enough.
Stale fish. Hard to choose.
So he will steal the most recently played card. Again. Put down a squirrel.
New fish. Easy choose. Might now. Go fish.
Does he continue stealing, or does he only do that the once? I can't remember. Take ourselves a big card. Smoke goes down here, sacrifice these both for an ant queen. And get ourselves a little bit of a damage buff. Sorry, Stoat.
All stale. Hard to choose.
Ah, so that's what happens when she upgrades, and that is very powerful. Let's go ahead and draw a squirrel, place it down to tank, and basically take the hook. And then the sharks come out, don't they?
Go fish.
We will want to throw out a lot of damage very, very soon, won't we? I can't remember the exact setup he does here. They were all basically 4-2, weren't they? This might present a problem. But we're not gonna have to worry about the cards opposite of the squirrels. Not yet. Xander, why don't you tank for me? And I think we have this one won. Check for lethal. We need 2 points more damage. We'll go ahead and sacrifice both of our squirrels for an amalgam. And plenty of excess. Anglers down. Our strategy is working wonderfully for us tonight. Your lives are restored. Choose carefully. Poor abandoned child. It does not die when sacrificed, but do you have the heart to try? Well, we're already basically building a deck like that, so no need for that one. The Holy Mantis God. Well, I guess he's not the angler anymore. The Holy Mantis God. A perfect incarnation of terror. Trifurcated Strike. Now that's exceptional if we get it upgraded. Also a good minion for us to basically cycle quickly. And then a strange larva. I think I'll go with the Mantis. Emergency sorted damage, and if we get to upgrade his attack, he becomes even scarier. Potentially a play to win the game under the right circumstances.
The reef of the fresh air quickly gave way to a bone-shaking chill. You guessed at the path ahead as the snow increasingly obscured it. You had climbed to the snow line.
But is there anything else for us to look for here? I still don't know what this one symbolizes. Or what we're supposed to do with this picture. This picture frame. We've already done everything here. The dagger is an item to be used in play. I'm going to guess that's the next part of the plot, so we might need to have an excuse to use it. Now, I hate starvation. Let's get ourselves a new card, and it looks like we'll have to sacrifice another one real soon. Ooh, nice set of effects here, Casey. I like the idea of the high-cost moose buck, but 3 is a bit of a problem when we have a board full of other squirrels. We'll go ahead and pick a 1-costing card since it's a little easier. We're not having enough things die to make use of the Rattler. Although the high attack is useful, we definitely have some strong cards elsewhere. If we had more of a death-focused deck, that would be a good option. Another encounter. Place you here over to the side. Sacrifice you to the Stoat, who will Attack the elk pawn. We do not immediately have a way to get rid of those raven eggs before they hatch. Or maybe we do. Raven egg hatches into a 2-3, I believe. Start strong and be aggressive. I'll take another preferably big card. And there we go. We have a strengthener and encounters. Items which we don't need just yet. But potentially a very strong card depending on if we build correctly. Potentially two in the future. Let's do something that I'm not normally tempted to. You know how much I love campfires, but I think we could do for a change of pace. Definitely not kin. I think we want to go for the attack here, since we have some high power monsters. Not good enough. I think that's the first one we failed after all this time, though.
You found yourself among a grove of thick and pungent mushrooms. You squinted to see a figure through a thick cloud of spores.
Huh. I wonder how these folk would talk. Referring to themselves with a plural we, it looks like.
We are the mycologists, yes?
Yeah. Oh, I have to do two.
Yes. And we are performing our experiments far from... We are not welcome elsewhere. We will experiment on your flock, yes? We will need two of the same creatures. One for each of us. Oh dear, you don't...
You have no duplicate cards.
To take one of ours. We will use it next time.
I'm enjoying the pronghorn, honestly. Next encounter. Thank you, James. I'm trying, as confused as I might possibly be. Mantis God sets up for a very good attack later, but we don't have very much damage from him. I will set up across from the Raven Egg. Go ahead and place the squirrel down here uncontested, and then Mantis God goes over on the side here. The Raven Egg will advance, and while it still will hatch, we'll get the damage on the elk fawn without it being retaliated. Porcupine has quills. We can play a card now if we sacrifice a squirrel. Oh, you have sprinting, so you're gonna move out of the way. Well, wrong play then. But we will still get a bit of extra damage out. Well, Raven, it's time to commit cannibalism. Oh, of course you're flying, and I keep forgetting. Flying isn't a mechanic in Hearthstone, so I usually forget about it. Just completely. I think we might be screwed. Indeed, a lucky draw. Yikes. Just for the sake of emergency, use it or lose it. I think we might actually want to... We'll want a squirrel. Funny enough... Nah, elk would be better. Let's take... Oh, you need the space. Okay. Guess we can only take the raven then. And we need the damage immediately. A squirrel can tank some damage. We basically immediately need quite a bit of it. Place you here, and actually sacrifice the raven for an amalgam here. We should be able to survive the following turn. We do need to get rid of that raven egg basically as soon as possible. We can place down an ant queen immediately afterwards. Good damage. I think we can actually just stack up some other damage here. Yeah, let's drop ourselves a worker ant right here. Enough to change the tides immediately. We've got enough damage here that we don't really need to worry about the little bit he has from the raven. So, just in case, we will take another squirrel. Take another card. Hello, me. My face. Alright, now we have another selection. I think we'll go this way. Let's try to see if we can roll for another one of the creature cards here. No. No. I think this one is our best bet. We haven't found the error card yet. I'm looking for it. And we're good. See what we get here. The mole slows the game down, but we might want something that speeds the game up. Moosebuck will let us make a lot of sacrifices in one turn. The cat still requires attention. Health +2. We can get ourselves some stickier minions with the extra stats. Who do we like? The amalgam basically functioning as a squirrel, I think might actually be one of the better choices, because then we can get a lot more of the indefinite sacrifices out of it. A lot of the other useful cards don't have quite as much staying power. The only other one I can think of would possibly be the pronghorn. What would you recommend, class? Out of the folk here that have a bit more experience than me. Let's go for pronghorn, since having the huge amount of a diagonal attack. If we can get one extra turn out of him.
The survivors looked hungrier by the second. Push your luck or pull away.
We're not gonna risk that too much. That card's far too valuable to our deck. Now, if only I could get another amalgam. Right. Squirrel. Squirrel. Sacrifice them both for the amalgam here to attack the turkey vulture. And Raven. Just start out with a very aggressive turn 1. Game doesn't want to apply me as a card. Yeah, that's a little saddening. Pronghorn. Excellent. We'll want a squirrel here in a moment. Take a squirrel planning for next turn. We'll need something to fight the raven, which we can definitely get from out of the pronghorn, but only after another turn or two. What I think I'd like to do immediately... Actually, no. Let's just do the pronghorn right now, sacrificing the 2 squirrels we have on board. Cave, welcome. I hope you had a wonderful time finishing up Yakuza. Mako, welcome. I've actually seen you around quite a bit in quite a few friend streams. Welcome. Let's see. We will want something big to play onto the table, so we'll draw one of our monster cards. Don't need to make any other changes here. And I think that might be our win. Indeed, let's hope we can find some spot to use all those teeth pretty soon. I want to see what we get from the experiment here. Avid Author and Mako are both sweetheart. Well, the only confirmation I have is Avid Author being a sweetheart. I don't think I've seen Mako in one of my streams before, so I don't yet have confirmation there.
Me pelts are clean.
Indeed, I talked about how many teeth we want. Let's take some golden pelts. And save that for later. It feels like those teeth are carried over between playthroughs.
Thanks for your patronage.
Now we get to see what we do with the mushroom boys here.
You found yourself among a grove of thick and pungent mushrooms. You squinted to see a figure through a thick cloud of spores.
Did you bring to us 2 of the same? We would like to experiment.
Ah, that would be interesting, but we'll definitely trade the pelts later. What do we do here?
I think this could get messy. Look away.
Are they gonna splice it? That's absolutely terrifying.
The pronghorn. It is now one?
It's not that bad on the sickness. I just have something in my throat, which only is an issue when I'm talking. On the evenings lately that I've been playing single-player games, it hasn't been an issue whatsoever. It's just, as long as I keep exhaling, it's a problem. You hear me flex my voice acting chops the entire time. This isn't my real voice that I stream with, either. We are roughly getting to the end of the snow here, right? Yeah, we're actually coming to fight the trapper, I believe.
You took in the familiar sights and scents of the trapper's pelts. But something was different. The once friendly man now beheld you with a steely gaze.
I'm afraid I must be skinning you today.
And it's Undertale again with all the floating knives. Yeah, there's no way I sound this handsome normally. So we need something expendable to get rid of the leaping trap right there. Flying blockers. Actually, the leaping trap here does not have an attack. So if we place a squirrel opposite, we basically have something we can always sacrifice. Or so I assume. Now, let's take a look here. KC can get us a little bit of damage and get rid of the leaping trap. I think that might be an issue soon. I hope he doesn't clear the entire board. But Pronghorn makes for a very strong start here. So let's do that. Oh, great. I forgot they form traps afterwards. So we just sacrificed our best card. Although since it has multiple attacks, it can get rid of multiple enemies at once. Sorry, Stoat, you're relatively expendable. The Pronghorn is able... Oh! Right, because it attacks diagonally and the effect it... Hold on. Because it attacks diagonally, it doesn't trigger the... What is it? The creature opposing it perishes. So we don't have to worry about that one getting hit by the traps. Thank you for the bit of advice, James, even though I would have already made the play. That'll help me plan a couple of future turns. Well, we have a wonderful start then. Wolf pelts are easy sacrifices, so we will try to see if we can find one of our more powerful cards here first. And not play anything, as the Pronghorn's going to destroy his entire board. Pretty easily. We have a lot of sacrifices to make. Let me get a bigger card, hopefully. I'd rather not have a rabbit pelt. You specifically waited so you wouldn't influence the result as much. Well, that Pronghorn is officially MVP. Let's set up for a squirrel sacrifice in the future. Now, we probably win this as long as he... Well, you will move after the next turn. Draw me a card. see what he does about clearing the board. If he doesn't get rid of the pronghorn, we're,
Exquisite pelts, but the cycle must continue. Let's trade.
Well then.
Powerful cards. I will accept only the finest pelts for them.
Forget, what's that effect? The Great White having the diagonal attack there, I think, might be just one of the best options here.
Trade for what you can, but know this, the rest will stay and fight for me.
Okay, so generally we just want to take these stronger cards regardless. The adder probably won't be a problem, as the pronghorn will continue to attack diagonally and move out of. Get rid of Bloodhound, then use Mantis God. It does have the poisonous effect. Oh, wait, you have a lethal setup, that's what you're saying. Oh, we can just take as many. Do they stay on the board immediately afterwards, though? I wonder. We still have another pelt. Do we get to keep these cards, I wonder? Flying's not too good on a card like that. Burr Snapper's evasive. Well, let's see, Guardian. Not very good. And then play Mantis God, you say? I mean, I'd prefer not the backseat gaming in the future, no you? But I suppose I've already been given an answer. Oh right, I still have to draw. Hey, don't worry about it, no you. I have not yet actually made it a rule, so... I probably placed that in the wrong spot anyway. Didn't spot exact lethal, did I? Close enough. You get to keep the cards, always forget that, but because of that, the fight's pretty easy. You will not that's... I think that's the regular Dungeon Master.
You will not quite perish yet.
No sweat, no you. I will probably just append that to the rules in the future, maybe into the description. I've had a couple of violations from other students in the past of not discussing content relevant to the stream, but I'm not going to be too strict on that. That did invite quite a good bit of thinking there.
That filthy feral hog. It becomes incensed when its chimes are struck.
Or another pack rat. A good wall, but with our squirrel setup, we're basically occupying a lot of spaces as is. To try to lighten up the weight of our deck, I think we'll go ahead and pick our Gek boy.
With the enigmatic trapper and trader now bleeding in the snow, you persisted. You could see a light in the distance. The end is near.
Ah, is Leviathan not here to take care of the bot? I'll go ahead and drop a little hammer here. There's been a couple tonight. I actually can't verify on my end if Leviathan's taking care of them, though.
We will need another map.
Ah, frightening dark purple. We'll probably be using the dagger up here pretty soon. Shop. I'm guessing you're talking about the position on the right, correct? That's your recommendation? Because I recognize the other two symbols.
The trader's post was left abandoned. As a sign of respect for the strange woman, you only took what you could afford.
Wolf Cub definitely makes our deck quite a bit lighter. And with all the excess minions we can pull up, might be a good choice. Ah, the golden pelts. So we get to pick... Well, you already know I'm going to need an amalgam here. Blow the candle. Well, I'm already past the point I can do that, I imagine. We will build up quite a few death tokens. So you say while we're here. I was wondering what we're doing with this. Really?
I do relish snuffing out your excess candles before boss. Perhaps now you will enjoy it as much as I do.
So does that reduce my candles then, I'm going to guess? Gives us an extra card to use. I'm not sure that I like the idea, but we have a very strong deck already.
Your eyes affixed themselves on the small cabin. Its warm light, a beacon in the oppressive darkness of the night. Surely this cabin marked the end of your travails.
So what do we got here? Can't go back. Can't go to the side. Our only option is forward. Ah, an obstacle. So?
Steps away from the strange cabin, you are presented with an opportunity. I don't offer my boons to just any traveler. If you are able to pass my trials, you will be rewarded mightily. Trial of the Swift. The 3 drawn cards must include a card with the Sprinter sigil. The Trial of the Finned. The 3 drawn cards must include a card with the Waterborne sigil. Or the Trial of Rarity. The 3 drawn cards must include a rare card.
only sprinters we have are the elk and the pronghorns, I believe. And we'd have 3 rare cards, so either the left or the right option should have... I think this one should do it.
Let the trial of rarity begin. Ah, Amalgam is a rare card. Success. I will grant you one of my most powerful boons. Cards that dramatically alter the game, and you don't even need to draw them. The Boon of the Bone Lord. You will start a battle with 8 bones.
Not too useful.
Boon of the Magpie's Eye. When you draw from your deck, you may choose any card in your deck to draw. Boon of the Ambidextrous. You may draw twice at the beginning of your turn.
Huh. We do have a relatively thick deck, so between being able to draw a squirrel and us having the 2-cost cards, we can definitely set up for some power plays with the option on the right. We're usually playing a lot of cards at once. You've seen that since we have our infinite sacrifices, we're usually making a power play on turns 1 and or 2. With us having such a large deck, I think being able to draw 2 is better. And my cat wants out. Let me take care of that real quick. Come on.
We will repeat that once more.
Did I say that twice? It would be fitting, at the very least.
The Trial of Skins. The 3 drawn cards must include a pelt. The Trial of the Ring. If you have a ring, you pass automatically. The Trial of the Winged. The 3 drawn cards must include a card with the Airborne sigil.
Haven't we traded away basically all of our pelts, right? I don't think we have any left, do we? I'm gonna go ahead and pick the blind option before any of you recommend something to me.
Let the Trial of the Winged begin.
Oh, well, we already solved it.
Ah, Raven is a card with the Airborne sigil. Success. Your choice of boons. The Boon of Goat's Blood. You will start the battle with a black goat on board. Boon of the Bone Lord, or the Boon of the Forest. You will start a battle with grand furs on all of your spaces.
Which lets us draw a lot of cards, but we want to go with a very aggressive, powerful start. So I'll go ahead and use that goat, especially if we draw one of our 3-costing cards immediately.
You managed to get both of my boons. I rarely say this, but I am impressed. You've been a worthy adversary, but unfortunately I must soon put you to death.
Just because I know this game likes to hide a lot of secrets, I'm going to keep looking to the left and right, seeing if there's another option for us. There's a lot of stuff going on over there. Step inside. Ah, finally we see him.
You took your time out there, and I'm itching for another game. Are you ready to play?
Well, here's our boy. We don't exactly have an option to say yes or no. It looks like we have to sit down here. Can't take a look around the cabin.
I hope you are adequately prepared.
Only allowed the one mistake.
That smoke. It is great indeed. Perhaps one more to be safe.
And so we begin. Well, an excellent start already. Now, we're going to be able to set up for power plays a lot later. We can definitely go ham at first, but since I don't yet know what this boss is going to do, I'll save the pronghorn for when I really need 4 damage in 2 directions. So to start with, let's get ourselves an elk, which will be relatively uncontested for the start. It'll be blocked by a mole man, but that's it. Greater Smoke we set up for a double sacrifice here in a moment. But Amoeba... why not? Exceptional play. Alright. We'll want something big to start off with soon. Mantis God. Get some damage spread out. Let's go ahead and get our bigger variety of options out here. Stout is good. Let's keep some cards in hand while we're a little bit ahead. Hence, why I didn't play our best card so soon. Very well. We'll probably want some big guys to contest the board before anything else. How's our damage looking? Ah, perfect choice with Xander. Well, this seems to be the next of our plot-related items, so I'm probably going to use this regardless. Oh dear. Oh, so that's what it... I don't like this game. But I assume that's part of the plot to advance this forward.
All still, hard to choose.
Oh, well, yeah, please, take it. We'll want to set up a squirrel for a sacrifice, just in case. get rid of that amalgam immediately. Ah, the Gek. Curious. But possibly a savior. Mantis God would have been a lot more useful here. We don't have anything with thorns to immediately get rid of the Mantis God. So... have Xander here tank the amalgam for a bit. And then place a dispensable squirrel over here. So it looks like he's going to rotate between the different abilities here, which means Trapper should be next, right? Yeah, Error, I don't know what I'm doing here. Remember, this is the first time I've been playing. Knife happened, something with the eyeball. We'll need a play. Is that a 7-7 up there? Wow. Well, luckily we have the diagonal attacks against it. Actually, I don't think we need to play anything here. One candle down.
You capably endured the onslaught of rare creatures, but the true challenge was forthcoming. Shadowy figures appeared before you. In their eyes glimmered a recognition of kinship, but colored by guilt. They were betraying you. I remember that one fondly.
Ah, some of our death cards from prior. So it looks. Draw from one of each, amalgam will be exceptional. We're not gonna need to focus on sacrifices just yet. Flying blocker. Let's go ahead and play... no. Get rid of a squirrel. Hello there, and welcome.
Trade for what you can, but know this, the rest will stay and fight for me.
I do have a pelt. Okay, so charger, diagonal attack. Wolf overall has the best stats available here. Finally, we get to make some space here. Okay, okay. Stout, I think you've actually done your part. Ooh, powerful. Sorry, Stout. I think I see a 3 over there. Go ahead and place our amalgam here. Sacrifice a Gek. Let's get this party started. Going all in. Now, as long as he doesn't clear our entire board...
This damned moon. It's dramatic, yes, but it provides no value to my board. I wonder...
I'm not gonna see the board, am I?
Now that is value.
Moonstrike. A card bearing the sigil will strike each opposing space that is occupied by a creature. It will strike directly if no creatures oppose it. At the beginning of its owner's turn, a card bearing the sigil will pull small creatures like squirrels into its orbit. Interesting choices we have here. I'm guessing that's going to be attacking it.
What is this? Weakening my moon with the stinky sigil? It makes no sense. Moons do not have a sense of smell. This is not how I imagined this battle going.
He's gonna turn the tides on me, isn't he? Good choice. Keep it going strong. Sacrifice the amalgam for Wolf Cub, and then sacrifice them both for another amalgam. Nine HP left. If we survive this turn, it should go just fine, right? There's no catch here, is there?
You really destroyed the moon. I suppose all that's left is to finish me off. Go on.
Oh my, I think I just beat him. Oh.
Let me guess. I'm gonna have to do that a few more times, knowing how a lot of roguelike games set up. And seeing the bizarre presentation here, it's going to be a lot different here in the future, isn't it? Ah, we have a variety of videos here to look at, it looks like. Fine. I'll bite. I did hear some tales that this is going to be a bit of a subversive game, so it's going to pull some Undertale shit on me.
Hey
And we're
there,
going to get
card
some
gamers.
ARG
I'm
going
the
on in
Lucky
here.
Carter, and this is another pack opening video. Today,
What
I
is
am
my
opening
cat doing?
Catch Monsters packs and digging for that epic shiny Transcend Dog. And here I'll add some crazy VFX with lightning bolts or something. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am about to open my first pack. Feeling good about this one. Feeling real good.
Oh, funny, when I alt-tab out, it pauses the game. Fine, I'll sit here and watch.
Okay, and our first rare is a Birchkin. Not exactly a viable competitive card, but hey, it's a pretty one. All right. Next pack. Feeling even better about this one. I gotta say, these cards are feeling extra silky today. I mean, they're so smooth. Not sure what they're doing down there at the card factory, but these are feeling good in my hands. Okay.
You're gonna be messing with
See what
me.
we got here. Some jank cards. Maybe a few additions to my draft cube. We'll see. And our rare for this pack is Bandog. Not exactly riveting so far, but we have many packs to go.
Do people actually
Next
watch
pack,
these
here we
videos?
come.
This is a gambling endorsement, nothing more. I'll let my cat in since he is currently prattling on my door. Give me a second. And Xander will have an existential crisis and stare into space for a few seconds. You're the biggest cat I have ever owned. Reveal at 10K. If you have not yet liked and subscribed, I at least would like you to do the latter. Likes are
Hey
nice
there,
too.
card gamers. I'm the Lucky Carter, and this is a vintage pack opening video. Today I'm opening a few super rare old packs
Ah, alright.
at a garage sale.
We're
I've
gonna
got
be
4
doing this,
packs
huh?
of Inscryption. You would not believe the deal I got on these. Now, not all of you will even remember this game. I'm barely old enough to have seen these going around in my childhood. For whatever reason, they only did 1 set of these cards and then stopped printing them. There's not a huge market for them anymore, but at the rate I got them for, there's not really much to lose. That being said, a foil Mantis God goes for a couple $100, so fingers crossed.
This is gonna be the
Really
whole
cool.
there is no game thing all over again,
Definitely
isn't it?
stands the test of time. And our rare for this pack is Blue Mage. Cool looking card, but not going to be worth very much. All right. Let's see what we got going on in the second pack. This pack has been opened and resealed. Hope no one snuck the rare out of it. That would suck. Come on, people, honestly. Who opens and reseals a pack? There's a set of coordinates on this card.
Leading to a cabin in the woods.
Looks like they were drawn on with a pen. 49 degrees north, 123 degrees west. I think I'd have to check, but I think that's pretty nearby.
Blue Mage can't wait to cast fish. One of the few Final Fantasy jokes I think I might recognize, although that one's not very far ahead in my memories. Hopefully this guy doesn't actually use a green screen as the background in the final video. What is... I don't know if you can hear that. My cat's just being very weird. What's he doing? What is your deal? Huh? What is your deal? You have food. Ah, he was thirsty, I think. His water bowl was empty. So, we see an error here in the bottom left. I assume that means something very mysterious is going to be happening over the course of October
Aren't you
3rd.
guys? I'm out here living my best life. Got my trusty headlamp and shovel.
Well, I was told this game was going to be subversive. Don't think I've ever had an ARG inside of a video game.
Yeah. Okay. Whew. Getting close. I think. Assuming there is a thing to get close to. This very well may be a massive waste of...
Of course.
All right. That's why you always bring an extra battery, boys and girls. Every time. You gotta come prepared.
So, welcome to Xander Turing's first official watch-along. I thought it was going to be at least a year into streaming before we did this. I used to work a job like this, actually. Outdoors.
This is it.
You can imagine Xander doesn't do well outdoors. That's why I changed over to streaming.
We dig. I give a 75% chance it's a rock. But only one way to find out.
Those GPS markers, the handheld ones, actually aren't that good. They'll be accurate to
Is that?
maybe about a dozen feet or so.
Oh my god, you guys, I can't believe it.
You'd have to
There's
be doing
actually
a
something
lot
here.
of digging to make sure that you were in the right spot. Blue screen and green screen are just for different purposes. Ah, yes, here we go.
What? What the fuck?
If this turns out to be a
Guys.
whole, oh, we're playing a haunted
Are you
video
seeing
game
this?
which steals people's souls, I'm turning the stream off and
I'm,
never playing this game again.
I'm a little confused.
Just check the channel and uses a blue screen in the file of it. So it is an ARG. He's got an actual YouTube channel, I imagine.
Okay, $11. Cheaper than a foil steam ball, really. Alright, fine. Wow, great video.
It means he's green screening his background to be blue. I guess that's not much of a change. The entire purpose of using a green screen so you can have some creative background behind it.
Okay, time to figure out what's on this thing.
I love how, in order to make this footage, they had to make it as difficult as possible to tell that they were playing any sort of recognizable OS, or remove the branding logos from every possible screen. So there's a reason the new game was not available. I assume this is a case of a haunted game cartridge or something. That way I'll be pleasantly surprised when it's not. After all, with all the hype around this game, obviously it has to be something different.
I do not celebrate often, and I seldom give gifts. But you, Challenger, you are worthy. Please, do not be polite. Dig into the suspicious meat cake. I promise you, it's been well cooked for about 5 minutes at 200 degrees. Is something wrong? Your prize awaits.
Obviously that's a human meat cake.
Very well. Come with me. Stand right there.
Uh-huh. So we're doing this again.
Please do not be foolish. There's no film in there. I will need that. Give me your camera. You, challenger, are a champion, and I wish to commemorate your victory. Please, inscribe your name.
Now we have a moment to think. We have a celebration here. Ha! Well, a winner card, you say? Just for the first one, I'll be simple. Let's name it Turing. And I have an eye patch.
Do not despair. You are a winner. But I'm going to kill you anyway.
How is this game not over yet?
The last challenger managed to defeat me. A rare event. Go and ask how they did it. You will find them hanging from the door over there. Your pitiful deck.
We've got more escape room stuff to deal with. Hanging from the door. Ah. Hello, Turing, with your one eye remaining. One tooth. Uh-huh. There's still plenty more to mess with here. Those mushrooms are new too, I believe. Very well. Knowing how these games are set up, we've got a whole lot more to deal with. First things first. Let's get us some new cards. Better ones.
The Venerable Alpha. Its courage emboldens the creatures that stand beside it.
But everything here costs so much. Guess we'll finally use the clover. Lewis, huh? We'll play a few turns, but I think we might have reached a good stopping point. Maybe after the first fight, or the first boss. I've got to think about that one. I still have to build a schedule for the remainder of this week. Although, seeing how bizarre this one has been for the last few days, I guess I might move it to a second slot sometime this week. Both of you looking a little different. We'll enhance not Stink Bug, as the stinky effect just basically makes him wall very, very well. I knew there was no way this was going to be over yet. Pronghorn. Attacks to adjacent spaces, and then you're going to move. Start off strong. Go ahead, sacrifice a squirrel for a bullfrog, and then place Stink Bug opposite the pronghorn here to invalidate his next attack, basically. Give me another card, a good one. What an interesting predicament we found ourselves in. We have plenty of other supplies. Let's take the left route here. And as usual, just enhance our deck, get a few better cards. Now, in a lot of similar games, I enjoy playing decks that use basically all the cards available to them. Control decks, as they're referred to in Hearthstone, and I think that's similarly referred to in other card games. I like being able to build my entire deck and playing around the entire deck, rather than say something that only uses a small portion of it. So I like having a lot of cards, and a lot of cards to draw.
A group of starving survivors, blah blah blah. I'm not going to read this one the entire time, every single time it comes up.
More attack, and who could use it? Lewis being able to hide himself probably could benefit from it the most. Let's do another gamble. But that will be enough. A 3-1 that can't be hit back like that, well, that's a lot of damage for us. Another pronghorn. Place a squirrel down here, sacrifice it for an elk fawn, which we will let evolve after a turn. And I forgot about the sprinter effect. Let's not lose so quickly, please. I'll take a bottled squirrel. You like having just a few super powerful cards. It definitely makes your deck a lot more consistent. It's kind of why I enjoyed that ambidextrous effect so much. Stinkbug, you go ahead and deal with the pronghorn here. Or at least slow him down. And that should be game there, right? Pretty much. Lewis isn't going to be hit back. You're looking a little bit different every time. So we used the dagger once. I wonder what we do next. Not quite over yet, is it? Let's go for as much overkill as possible. Take the few teeth. He has a lot of them. I assume they're not going to all be his. Number of cards you have in hand. A lot of sacrifices. Let's go with a pretty simple choice there. We'll not reroll just yet. Lewis is good as is. I think we can put the elk fawn stats on something a bit more survivable, like Stoat. Fine choice. With 3 health, he's guaranteed to survive 1 turn, it looks like. and begin again. We have a couple of sparrows to deal with, which will be moving around as they go. Let me just get some unbeatable damage off the bat. That's going to outdamage all the sparrows, at the very least. Draw a squirrel. We can use that soon. Whitest don't want sigils if he complains the moment you play him. He is a bit of an odd fellow. He seems to me like the kind of guy who drags your team down a little bit, but basically the kind of guy who wants the team to carry him, even if he's kind of a dead weight to the entire operation. Enhanced attack from the Alpha, but we'll be attacking it soon enough. Take 2 squirrels. And the wolf's looking a bit hungry today, isn't he? Simple enough, we'll wait out our turn. We could have gotten a few extra teeth. If only we waited. Or played another card. A lizard tribe, it looks like. What are we setting up for so far? Let's go with wolf. I think we can make a good wolf deck on this run around. Campfire, enhance another card. Which, you know how much I love the campfires. I mean... creature could become more powerful, but the survivors looked hungrier by the second. Push your luck or pull away. I think 4 attack is just fine. Thank you. Almost a great white there. And until we have to deal with the porcupine, not really going to be much of an issue.
The trees closed in tight around you, creating an impenetrable brush. The only way out was forward, and the hobbled shape of a man stood in the way. Stood in that way.
I'm so sick of this boss.
I agree.
Got any gold in that there skull? Let me crack it open and take a look.
A nice selection to start with. Let's go ahead and just get ourselves some nice damage right off the bat. 3 attack. Which a card will be a lot less useful later as we start pulling cards out of our hand. I'll take a squirrel, thank you. And let's use that to get rid of the coyote. Plenty of damage to the pack mule. Since we are setting up for wolves, let's get ourselves another squirrel for all the extra damage. And keep all the cards in hand. We will want fewer cards on our side of the board when it becomes our time to attack. But... well, it's a shame we have to get rid of...
Ye coward! That mule was defenseless.
Shame we had to get rid of that one. So many squirrels to use. Alright. Give me something good. Another wolf. Greater Smoke has attack, so we will not sacrifice him. Not yet. We are going to need some damage immediately. Basically, some immediate intervention. Stink bug. No, we can't fill up our side. At least not yet. I think we can go ahead and sacrifice a wolf. A squirrel and a bullfrog, but we want to avoid filling up our side of the board a bit too soon. Give me another squirrel. Lewis, very good, we will place him down once the next phase starts. Although, we'll have to wait for our cards to disappear first.
There's gold in them cards.
Death tokens, thank you. We'll have a very good turkey vulture soon.
I've struck gold.
We've got plenty of cards to spare. We just need the Bloodhound to go forward and attack our gold nugget.
Get him.
And with the sheer amount of damage that... what's his name? Lewis. There we go. We shouldn't have much trouble here. Looks like we still have quite a few cards, and all of the other lanes will be blocked. So we'll survive whatever damage he pulls out on us. Just fine. For a good laugh, let's go ahead and put our turkey vulture down and get some of these cards out of my hand. Reignite. Ah, he's just referring to our candles.
Perhaps one of these will entice you.
Take a look here.
The Stalwart Mole Man, the ultimate defense.
A good wall, and actually, even better if we can upgrade his attack. Or, I don't think he can have more than 2 sigils on a card, right? Ah, welcome, Captain. I guess, as per your request, let's get ourselves a Gek. The Gecky boy.
Free of the prospector's unhinged gaze, you looked ahead.
How you doing tonight, Captain? We just had our first win, which I'm going to guess there's a lot more stuff happening in the future. You love the name. What did I title this stream on Twitch anyway? I forget. Let's go ahead and look that one up. Ah, well, no, that's kind of a boring stream name.
As the air grew humid, your boots became harder to pull from the mud.
I used to actually put on a lot of really creative titles for my stream. Oh, you meant you just love the name Gek. Well, he's a very Gecky boy. Of course, every time I hear that, I'm going to think of Fallout more than anything else.
The dank smell of tepid water invaded your nostrils. You've walked into a Smash Brothers tournament. You had reached the wetlands.
We don't have a choice yet, do we?
The ornery porcupine, Sharp quills await those who dare attack it.
Let's do a reroll, see if we can get... I do like the cockroach. What the heck, you know how much I love it. Besides, we can apply its effect to someone else.
Did we just strike gold?
That's a dreadsteed. Never mind, I think I will play with this one for a little bit longer. Get ourselves some damage out there. Everyone celebrate. We have an immortal gecko. Play you here. Sacrifice you over here. When I still played Hearthstone, this was literally the strategy I used. When I first started playing, I basically built my entire deck around a 1/1 minion that, when it dies, would immediately return to the board. And it wasn't a good deck, but it was incredibly fun because if I set up my combo, I could get it done around turn 5 or so, and basically have a board that could not be removed.
Leopathia-sized goats, the truest offering. Sacrificing it grants 3 blood.
We can definitely set up for some bigger monsters if we combo that with our Immortal Gek. In fact, we might actually want to focus on building up new cards as little as possible. If we make ourselves a consistent deck with the Immortal Gek here, well, obviously we have to enhance our best card. Give me a +1 and I will not take the risk of getting rid of him. But we can send him off to die against anyone. How have you been, Kiki? I caught the tail end of your debut, but that was it. And we can't use that to play a bullfrog, unfortunately. Or so I don't think. I'm not sure. We need to draw that Gek. Or that will work. We can survive a bit more damage. See if we can find that Gek here. Or not, but Stink Bug will do just fine. Not really sick anymore. That is wonderful news. We might be in trouble. Heck, I think we actually have to just sacrifice Stink Bug so we can immediately get Coyote off here. Get a little bit more health. Ah! And he's had a wonderful upgrade. Give me the Gek. Lewis will also suffice. In a turn. I'll take that damage, thank you. Give me the Gek. Perfect. And sacrifice him immediately for Lewis. These sort of gimmicky strategies are exactly the kinds I look for in card games like this. And you bet if I ever have a chance to make another Immortal Gek, I'm going to take it. Excellent chance to expend ourselves some teeth.
I'll be clear with ye. The trapping business been lagging. After being defeated by that challenger. Well, I'm thinking of clearing me inventory. Trying something else. Pelts are cheaper now.
Wonderful.
On the house.
Let's not fill up our deck too much. That should be good.
Ye have me gratitude.
Hopefully we'll be able to find a magpie soon, which would be very good for drawing specific...
Oh no, you can't use that.
Nothing will happen. This bottle of goo has no use. I know it's a subversive game. So that's probably... Well, knowing games like this, that literally has an equal chance of either being the secret key to some sort of super special ending, or literally that one trinket from Dark Souls 3, which is placed there just as a red herring that obviously doesn't do anything. Now, if I didn't have such an amazing card in an Undying Gek, I would pick it. But I think I'll go for something useful to try to make sure this build actually works. Glad to hear you're not sick, Kiki. I think I responded to that. Unfortunately, I'm still having a bit of a cough. Golden pelts aren't removed from our deck if we sacrifice them in a match, right? We still get to keep them, don't we? Hello, Stinkbug. How you doing? Ants. This is one of the few times I'm actually asking for... Use the knife more. So you want me to actually mutilate myself. And I'm guessing that makes us blind, inevitably. He resisted the urge to pick the goo. How is that possible? Well, I imagine it doesn't do anything useful for a while yet. And I want to make more use of that Gek. I mean, obviously that's a red herring, or it could be the secret to some sort of special ending. We will skip our first turn, as bad of an idea as it is. Well, this is definitely a situation in which we will need the knife then. Sorry. I don't like this game. I don't like this game one bit. Not a very good start. Perfect. Alright. Put you here. Stinkbug can go here. Sacrifice you for Black Goat, which will unfortunately have to tank a hit. we might still be losing. One candle snuffed out.
I hoped for more. Believe it or not, you're not the first to lose an eye here. This isn't much fun if you're half blind. Perhaps you'd like to replace it.
So we have Hermaeus Mora's eye here, which I think would be one of the ones that might have some sort of secret thing going on with it here. But I'll take the one with the weird magic rune. Find salvation in Cuckoo Clock. Well, we have a secret here.
Better? Regardless, the choice is final.
Find salvation in the Cuckoo Clock. Ah, okay. Take the film roll before he sees it. Now!
What are you doing over there? Turn to face me. What are you up to over there?
Well, we're seeing through the Eye of Magnus now, aren't we? Got a couple more secrets to look around for here. Wait, was there? Oh, no. No, I actually had my mouse over there, so I thought there was actually now an eyeball in the skull. No, that's not right. We'll take a couple of teeth, though. It doesn't look like there's anything else going on there just yet. Can't mess with any of these. If we set up a sacrifice, we can thin out our deck a little bit. Cat is still being a rascal at the door here.
Trial of kin. Trial of bones. And trial of blood.
We have the stunted wolf as part of our deck now, right? And I think our deck overall is relatively low cost, especially with so many pelts here. So, statistically, this might be a very oddly workable chance here. Unfortunately, no. But we can get rid of a card. Thinning out our deck will let us use the deck a lot more often. Let's take a look here. Stunted Wolf actually seems like he'd be a good thing to start upgrading. But not with that effect. Let's think. The blocks flying for a Gek, maybe not. If we could have said no, I don't think there's actually anything else on here that we would have wanted the Gek to have other than the black the black guts effect would have been great on him, but I don't know that we can graft them twice. I think being able to block flying and having the stinky effect would make Stinkbug a pretty good wall. And we get a relatively useless bullfrog out of the pool. Onto the angler we go.
You beheld an immense man slouched before a mucky pond. He appeared to be tearing hunks of flesh from a fish corpse. Some chunks were thrown back to the pond, where a few ghoulish birds snapped them up, and some were sloppily pushed into the hulking man's mouth.
You bring fresh fish. Easy choose. I ought to thank you. How's it been? It has been quite bad. I am trapped in the body of a stoat, in the paper of a card. I see that. And I have, of course, set up a way to reset once more. Go on.
Our player friend here, they already hold the key.
Stoat's changed his appearance once again. Almost starting to look like a TV head folk here. Start off strong.
All stand. Hard choose.
Yeah, I would have wanted I would have wanted the triple blood on sacrifice. That would have been amazing. Simple enough. Elder Stoat, you're weird. You're a weird fella.
Go fish.
Yeah, he's starting to look more like a machine now. His appearance is evolving, to say the least. Squirrel. Nothing yet we need to immediately have you fight with. Although we're currently at kind of a stalemate. I don't know if he's gonna set up the hook again if we play another card. I think we'll wait to draw a couple more. Ah, there we go. Golden pelt. Squirrel versus squirrel, then. We're kind of at an impasse. I guess I'm gonna have to do something a bit more on the offensive here. Although we might need to make 2 sacrifices for that. Very well. Golden pelt. You can't. Ah, of course. So that's just a barrier. Okay. New thing to be learned, and I guess I should have thought about that one. But he doesn't immediately have his hook ready. Here we are. Get some damage out there, the sharks are gonna show up. Yeah, that's fine, you can take the pelt. Wolf, good start. And here come the buckets.
Die already.
Go fish.
Ah, it's only across from every card here. So it won't be that much of a problem, will it? We can place the squirrel here, get our high hand value, and just start drawing cards while we wait. Though we're gonna need a lot more damage. Ah, the Gek. Perfect. And wonderful! We've beaten the boy.
Need a light? Perhaps one of these will entice you.
We actually don't have any amalgam setups this time. But if we use a GEC, we can probably set up... Now the GEC is different from an infinite sacrifice card because he does leave the table. So we do have some versatility with him. If we combine him with Child 13, we basically get to use a lot of flexible strategies that could use a 2-costing card. It looks like we have 2 items on the side here. Of course, we could just keep getting new items with a pack rat, including the potential for another failure item.
The angler's foul smell slowly faded as you continued on. We will need another map. Sheets of icy snow battered your body as you fought your way up to a vantage point. The snow-covered trees jutted from the landscape like prickly, misplaced teeth. You continued on through the snow line.
Which, actually, I say would be a good stopping point for us, as it has been a 3-hour stream, and I still need to prepare a schedule for everyone for this week. I'll go ahead and do that here momentarily. Sure, it would be nice to go for another run, but I don't want to leave us on too heavy-handed of a cliffhanger, do we? I think that's a very good, comfortable stopping point that we can relax ourselves without focusing on it too much. Now, the good thing about not having a schedule yet is I can still reconsider what we're doing. So I say I will promise us another Inscryption stream this week. Probably later. I want to be able to get Dead Cells back on the schedule. Given that tomorrow is MechWarrior, we'll be doing probably Dead Cells on Wednesday, and then Inscryption probably on Thursday. A lot of games I want to play here tonight. Well, this week, so it's looking like we might have another busy one. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow, as that's basically going to be our biggest day this week, having our first official collab. Hopefully afterwards, I might be able to try to get one in every week. That's what I'd be looking forward to. This has been a wonderful stream. This is definitely an interesting game, and I'm looking forward to playing it again this week. But for now, class is dismissed. Thank you everyone for your attendance. Kiki, James, Error, Kayla, Leviathan, know you, as in the actual name, know you. Anyone else who might still be here tonight? Indeed. Good night, everyone. I will try to keep the streams to 3 hours or 2 hours possibly, especially if I'm going to be doing so many of them. Don't want to try to overload myself and end up burning out on this. So, yeah, as awkward of a spot as it is, I will try to keep it down to much more reasonable stream lengths. Thank you, and good night. Or good day, depending on where you are on the world. Watch me swoosh right out.